It is 62 degrees here tonight, 10 degrees warmer than the start of last night's game. And here is the lineup for the Mets. No changes. Reyes, Loduca, Beltrán at the top. Delgado, David Wright, who is hitless in this LCS. And then Sean Green, Valentin, Chavez, and Perez, the bottom three. Under 200 is the average for this Mets team in the NLCS. And in the middle of all the action is a 24, about to be 25-year-old right-hander, Anthony Reyes. 5-game winner during the regular season, 17 starts with 6-1 in AAA. And here is his pitcher profile, brought to you by Exxon and Mobil Retailers.
He has a four-seam fastball, and Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan told Anthony that he had to develop a two-seam fastball to pitch effectively in the major leagues. His off-speed stuff is developing, but he'll try to establish that fastball early, as most pitchers do.
Tonight it's Spezio in left, Edmonds in center, and Juan Encarnacion in right. He did not play last night. Roland is back at third, Eckstein. Belliard, Albert Pujols. The catcher is Molina. The pitcher is Reyes. At the plate, Reyes. And the first pitch. Strike one. Reyes, Loduca, and Beltrán here at the top. Anthony Reyes with a let-up for a strike. It's 0-2.
That's a surprise pitch this early. Change up to Reyes for a strike.
Known for the straight-across bill of his cap, which he actually irons. Ball one down and in.
That's definitely a look that you don't see most major league players using nowadays.
And I would say for a good reason.
It's also an instrument you don't see many major league players use, an iron.
No. It's like an old helmet car. 1-2 pitch. Reyes slaps at it, stays up there. Anthony Reyes, a guy who pitched with Mark Pryor at USC. 15th round pick back in June of '03. Started the final game of the regular season that last Sunday, lasted only 2/3 of an inning against Milwaukee. So just as the Mets don't know what they're going to get out of their left-hander Oliver Perez, the same is true for Tony La Russa out of this right-hander Reyes.
And when you get Jose Reyes, you feel like you're getting more than just one hitter. He is such a dangerous threat leading off for the Mets.
And a good start for Anthony Reyes as Jose goes down swinging.
Yet another changeup to get Reyes. Boy, that's a surprise feature this early.
Our MasterCard keys to the game, Tim.
Yeah, where is the offense for the Mets? Remember how you won 97 games? That's what they're trying to do tonight. And the formula has been working for the Cardinals. So if it ain't broke, you know the rest of that deal.
Fix it anyway? Or
Something like that, yeah.
Loduca takes a strike from Reyes.
You know, with Reyes getting those change-ups over for strikes early, what that sends a message into the Mets dugout is that his changeup is pretty good. So now that puts another thought in their mind. Instead of loading up on a fastball, now they have to look for that changeup also.
Willie Randolph studying Anthony Reyes as he shows a pitch to Loduca, swings right through it, 0-2.
That's a four-seam fastball, his fastest pitch in his arsenal.
After Loduca, it's Beltrán. The Mets scored 131 runs during the regular season in the first inning. Jumping out in front, that was the best total in the National League. A big reason why Reyes, Loduca, Beltrán, the top three. Last night in the first inning, a 2-out hit by Beltrán, but Suppan got Delgado. The Mets went to work and scored 3 runs in their first inning of game 2, but blew the lead late. Loduca flies one into center. Pretty well hit. Edmonds back at the track. 2 out.
amazing how many hitters make outs on mistakes. That's a mistake in the fat part of the plate, a four-seam fastball right down the middle. Loduca just missed it.
Now it's Beltrán with 2 out, nobody on. They boo Beltrán when he gets announced, and they boo him here in St. Louis not because of what he does in the regular season against Cardinal pitching. 40 games, 4 homers, 27 RBIs, but what he's done in the postseason. 10 games, 5 homers, 14 driven in. That's against Cardinal pitching, and that's a fastball for strike 1. On deck, Delgado. Oliver Perez, the 25-year-old left-hander, will be on the mound in the bottom of this inning, trying to even this best-of-7 series. For the Cardinals, this round of the playoffs, Jason Marquis was taken off the active list. Anthony Reyes was put on for this start. He's retired the first 2. 2-2. Changeup skips in there, and it's full count.
You know, sometimes the changeup, when pitchers feel real good about it in the bullpen, they'll talk to their catcher and bring that out. And today it looks like he's going to go with that a lot, especially early in this ball game.
A 2-out walk. So Beltrán trying to get something started, works a walk out of Reyes, and we look at the 2 different types of fastballs for Anthony.
This four-seam fastball, as we said, that's the faster pitch. And again, this is how, right here and here, this is how regular position players try to hold the ball, because it's more accurate and it's a faster pitch. Right here, you get movement. If you're watching tonight with left-handed batters, and you see that ball tailing away, normally that's a 2-seam fastball. That's what Beltrán walked on, that ball tailing away from the left hand.
Now it's Delgado, and you would figure that that changeup would be an important pitch against a guy like Delgado. Carlos would love to give the Mets a jump start here in the first inning of Game 4. Down and in, ball 1. Home plate umpire tonight is Field and Culbreth. Fielden works the plate as he is working in his 3rd LCS. Check on Beltrán, who last night, after singling with 2 outs in the first inning, stole second. Was left there when Suppan got Delgado to hit a comeback. Delgado trying to do everything he can in this series swinging the bat. He has been by far the most potent hitter in this Mets lineup. 1-0 pitch. 2-0. And a visit from Yadier Molina to his young right-hander. Strikeout of Reyes. Loduca fly to deep center. Then after getting out in front of Beltrán, he walked him. And here are the numbers for Delgado and what he's done this series compared to the rest of his teammates. As many RBIs as the rest of them combined. Two 2-0 is the count.
Guys, and if you notice, Molina's got his fingers taped up, and that's just to help the pitcher see the signals from the catcher. Usually a lot of pitchers have trouble, especially at night, trying to pick up what fingers the catcher's putting down. A lot of catchers like to paint their fingernails just to make it a lot easier on the pitcher so they don't get crossed up on pitches.
Count has gone to 3-0. So the walk to Beltrán took the crowd out of it. Delgado sitting on a pitch, swings through a 3-0 fastball. And why not swing on 3-0 when you need some sort of lift after last night's shutdown, and Delgado could not put the 3-0 pitch in play. Now back-to-back walks, and it's up to David Wright. And if the Mets need anybody to step up for him, it's David Wright, who's 0 for 9 in this NLCS.
Sometimes if you have success with the first batter with that changeup, you have a tendency to fall in love with it. And it seems like Reyes, with a good fastball tonight, should go back to the fastball, and that's within an inning, within a game. That's the constant adjustment that pitchers and catchers try to continue to make.
Only the 4th time for David Wright that he's gone 3 or more games without a hit. 0 for 9 against Cardinal pitching, and he needs time. Came on the air talking about runners in scoring position and what the opposition has done against St. Louis pitching this postseason. Here's another chance. 2 on, 2 out. Strike 1. .26 home runs, 116 RBIs during the regular season. Two.
Two good fastballs to David Wright. And we talked about it in the first 3 games. No National League hitter is better at going to right field with 2 strikes than David Wright. Cuts down on his swing and thinks right. No pun intended.
Runners at first and second, 2 out. Changeup misses for ball 1. There are the numbers for the regular season. 154 games for the 23-year-old. 26 home runs, and then what he's done this postseason. Two and two.
I think Preston Wilson is too far into right center right now. With Wright with 2 strikes again, I think if Preston moves over about 3 feet, he'd be better off, because Wright loves to pace that right field line. I should say Juan Encarnacion, Mookie Wilson, with his wife Rosa. Mookie certainly knows that.
The 2-2 pitch, and Wright has worked the count full. So now the runners will go with a count 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out here in the first inning. Beltrán will take off at second, Delgado from first, and Anthony Reyes has had a tough time finishing off hitters here after getting the first 2. Change up and a fly ball into center field. Edmonds is back. The Mets threaten. Reyes threw 26 pitches, but gets out of trouble in the first, and now it's Oliver Perez taking the hill for New York. No score. Stan Musial statue outside the 3rd version of Busch Stadium, and here's the lineup for the Cardinals. Eckstein leads off, then Spezio is all the way up to the number 2 spot tonight. Pujols hitting 3rd, Encarnacion and right. Roland at 3rd, Edmonds, Belliard, Molina, and Anthony Reyes swings the bat well for a pitcher. Here is Oliver Perez in the eyes of New York and the baseball world on Oliver, who was part of a deal between the Pirates and the Mets. The deadline, Xavier Nady going the other way, and they are asking an awful lot out of a guy who did not have a good year.
Did not have a good year, and keep in mind he was the starting pitcher opening day for the last 2 years for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Eckstein first up, and he jumps out of the way. Control is the biggest issue with Oliver Perez. He's got a great arm. In fact, talking to Tony La Russa before the game, he said we would have loved to have gotten this guy, but he has a tough time throwing strikes consistently. And he's 2-0 on X-Dot. With the Pirates, he walked 51, struck out 51. The Mets picked him up, and that ratio got better. 41-17. There's a strike. 2 balls and a strike, 95 miles per hour. Mentioned it last night, the best start for Perez on September 6th in New York against Atlanta, 8-0 victory. Eckstein starts the game with a hit in the left center field. Chavez cuts it off. And with Oliver Perez giving up the hit, we give you his pitcher profile. It's brought to you by Exxon and Mobil Retailers.
Willie Randolph saying that Oliver must establish his rhythm early. And there's that point about being the opening day starter for a couple of years. And both Rick Peterson and Willie Randolph very impressed with his guts, saying he's not afraid. That's a big thing.
Here is Spezio, who is 3 out of 9 in this series with 5 RBIs and 6 for the postseason. Batting second for the first time against the Mets. Takes a strike.
And I think the Cardinals are doing exactly what they want to do off Perez. They're going to take pitches and make sure that Perez has his stuff to establish strikes. I mean, he's been known in the past couple months to be a little erratic, so they want to make sure if they're going to take passes at him, they want to make strikes.
Spezio off the end of the bat into shallow right center field. Valentine out to get it. Had to go a long way to grab it. 1 on, 1 out. Take a look at the defense for the Mets. No changes to the lineup again tonight for Willie Randolph. He has Chavez in left, Beltrán in center, and Green in right. This group has only allowed 1 unearned run this postseason. Wright, Reyes, Valentine, and Delgado third to first. And Loduca again does the catching. Here is Albert Pujols. He does not have an RBI in this series and only 3 this postseason. 137 during the regular year. Ball 1. Good swing by Pujols, fouls it back. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Pujols reads Perez very, very well. 3 home runs for his career. And a good swing on the first fastball thrown to him.
A 1-1. Too far inside. You can see why the Padres, then the Pirates, and now the Mets love this guy's arm. A great life to his fastball. He can never figure it out. The Mets may have pulled off a steal when they got him from the Pirates. Something the Pirates thought they had done to the Padres. 2-1. Left side, knocked down by Wright. The throw by Reyes, safe as Delgado dropped it. The ball got there in time, but Delgado could not make the catch.
What a reaction by Reyes to barehand the ball and on the run throw a strike to Delgado, and he dropped the ball. And he caught the ball. Pujols is out. As it stands, the second hit of the inning for the Cardinals. That could be an error on Delgado, however. If he catches it, he is out.
They've given a base hit to Pujols, but I'm with you. The hard part of that play had already been taken care of.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show you the arm strength of Reyes. I mean, he picked that ball up barehand on the run and made a perfect throw to first.
Now they just changed it to an error. So they first said hit, now they say error. And Encarnacion fouls it, strike 1. E3. And Delgado, who made 8 during the regular season, makes his first of the postseason.
And the reason that's an error because he would have gotten Pujols out if Delgado would have been able to make that play.
Runners on at first and second, 1 out, no balls, 1 strike on Encarnacion. 1-1. Eckstein, the lead runner at second. Pujols on at first. Two balls and a strike on Encarnacion.
Again, the talent of Oliver Perez. 2 years ago, he struck out 239 batters in the National League. At the time, that was 4th in the NL. The talent is there.
Two-one pitch, 2-2. The decision really came down to either Oliver Perez or Dave Williams, another left-hander, as the Mets headed into the NLCS. They picked Perez. Williams beat the Cardinals for the Mets this season. You saw the numbers in his career against the Cardinals. Oliver got the nod, and here he is with 2 on and 1 out in the first. Might be 2. Valentin, Reyes in the middle, double play. Both pitchers get into and out of trouble, and we go to the second here in St. Louis. Game number 4, NLCS, no score. Sean Green first up. Valentin and Chavez will follow for the Mets. 6, 7, and 8 hitters against Reyes, who deals a strike. Green so far in this series is 2 for 8. And in his last 20 games here at Busch Stadium, he's hit .307 with 4 home runs. Green takes another. It's 0-2.
Well, Sean is a very streaky hitter, but when he gets hot, he can carry a ball club, just as some of the other guys on their Mets team. And right now, they're looking for any one of these players to try to get hot here.
Yeah, they're not going to be picky, whether it's Green or Valentin or Chavez or anybody. Somebody get something started. Still 0-2 on Green. Willie Randolph last night had to replace his pitcher Traxel in the second. Got 6 great innings from Darren Oliver. But the Mets could not figure out Jeff Suppan. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Green. And all Suppan has to do tonight is just kick back and relax. His job, at least from last night, about as well as he could have done it. Still 1-2. I don't know if we've made enough about the loss of Cliff Floyd out of this Mets lineup. He is a guy who, when he gets hot, can certainly carry a club, and a guy who was putting together a very good postseason, 4 out of 10 with a home run, 2 RBIs. A strained left Achilles tendon, and he had to leave after the second in game 1. That's inside. 2-2.
Yeah, it definitely hurts your ball club when you lose a power guy like that. But then you have Endy Chavez, who's a speedy runner, so he can put a lot of pressure on defense. His problem is he hasn't been able to get on base either.
So far 1 for 10 in this series. 2-2 pitch is outside, full count.
Sometimes guys like this one, Chavez, they make it very tough on defenses out there because they make a lot of action happen out on the field.
3-2 pitch. Green, a good rip. For more on Cliff Floyd, let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, Mets manager Willie Randolph told us before the game that he's waiting for Cliff Floyd to tell him when he's ready to play. Well, I spoke with Cliff right before batting practice. He said he was going to go out there, test the strained left Achilles tendon. He was pretty confident that he could go back in there in the starting lineup tomorrow.
Green hits it hard into center field, but right at Edmonds. 1 out.
Well, this is what I like. You got 2 young pitchers on the mound, but they use the old style socks. You very rarely see this anymore. I think McCarver used to wear them like that, didn't you?
Certainly did.
And that's what the socks for the Cardinals have looked like forever. The only problem is you don't ever see them.
Everybody else with the pajamas on.
Pretty much wear them down by your shoes now, but most players, sometimes they do that for try to get something started, just to change it up a little bit.
Reyes deals to Valentine with 1 out. Ball 1 up and away.
Well, players, as we know, have weird superstitions. Almost all of them.
I'll let you two talk about
some inexplicably.
Anybody down on that field. Clubhouse guys, managers, pitching coaches.
Oh, how many times does Tony La Russa knock on wood?
Anytime he talks about anything going on with the team, he knocks on his desk and then knocks on his head. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, nobody on. Tailing delivery misses. 2-1.
What's amazing when players or coaches or you have something going right, you're going to continue to do it, whether it's taking the same route to the ballpark, eating the same type of meal, anything like that. Players are, it's a long season. You try to draw it out as long as you can when you're going good.
2-2 on Valentine.
How many times do we see managers go to the mound and not step on the line? First base line, the third base line. Sparky Anderson has never stepped on a line in his life. He has never had lime on his shoes.
2-2 with 1 out, nobody on. Reyes deals. Valentine is fooled on a changeup, 2 out. Second strikeout for Anthony Reyes.
Once again, that changeup used very beneficially for Reyes as Valentine is out front. There's the grip. You could see when that ring finger becomes involved and the little finger, we talked about it last night, the tighter the grip, the slower the pitch.
That's a great shot right there where the fans actually get to see the rotation on that. As a hitter, you have you're looking at the arm speed and you have very minimal time to pick that up. And that's why you see a lot of these hitters out in front of that pitch.
Here you're swinging at the ball, not the arm. Or the arm, not the ball, pardon.
Chavez takes a ball, and now the 1-0 pitch from Anthony Reyes. Ripped to the right side, and Chavez is on with 2 outs here in the second. That will get Oliver Perez to the plate as Chavez gets his second hit of this series.
And really, when you keep the ball down like you did to Chavez, that benefits a hitter like that because they like the ball down. When they pop it up, that doesn't do him any good out there because he's not a home run hitter.
Perez was 4 for 38 swinging the bat this season. And Perez takes a strike from Reyes. These two pitchers that are hooking up within this game and right now within this at bat, a combined 8 wins during the regular season and 21 losses. It is the worst combined winning percentage of any 2 pitchers hooking up in postseason history. Reyes, a 5-game winner. Oliver Perez won 3. 1-1 on Perez. Over but low, 2-1.
In the National League, if you have speed in the 8th place spot, it's wasted. Because if it's 2 outs, you don't want to send the runner and have the pitcher lead off the next inning. If it's less than 2 outs, the pitcher's going to move the runner over. So you waste speed in the 8th hole in the National League, not in the American League.
Now it's 3-1, and Molina wants to go talk as Anthony Reyes is getting back into trouble. Dave Duncan, his pitching coach, a hit by Chavez, and now Perez, who's been up there just standing and watching, has the count in his favor, 3-1. Oliver Perez would love to set up Jose Reyes with an RBI opportunity and a chance to put the Mets out in front.
I think you take here. Make him throw a strike.
He does not. Ball 4, and it's 2 on with 2 out. third walk already by Anthony Reyes. And here is Jose Reyes. And Dave Duncan comes jogging out of the Cardinal dugout. Reyes came up and really had a good start to his season. Through the 30th of June, he made 4 starts, had a 1-2 record, but a good ERA of 2.16. His best start after he was recalled from the minor leagues. He was 1-1 in May. June 22nd, 8 innings, 1 run, 1 hit at the world champion Chicago White Sox. Tommy home run, and he was the loser in a 1-0 game. But he has been anything but consistent since then. 13 starts, a 4-6 record, an ERA of 6.27, and 15 home runs allowed. No 1-0. Fooling Reyes with that pitch. It's 1-1.
And that's been his best pitch so far to Reyes. He hasn't been able to throw that changeup to any other player except for Reyes. But he's got to be careful. If he continues to throw it to him, Reyes will end up sitting on that pitch.
Ceases to be a surprise.
Here's a 1-1. Reyes now in the hole, 1-2.
And there you see a fastball. Reyes way behind on it because he's thinking in the back of his mind about that changeup.
For the most part, we've seen fastball changeup.
Right, no breaking balls, right.
Nothing in that other category from Reyes. Jose Reyes with an opportunity here, takes ball 2. Loduca, who's 0 for 1, waits on deck. Popped up, shallow left, Eckstein and Rolen. It's Eckstein, and the inning is over. Bottom of the second, Scott Rolen first up for St. Louis. Edmonds and Belliard the next 2 hitters, and Oliver Perez misses high, ball 1. The Pittsburgh Pirates made the deal with San Diego to get Oliver Perez in August of 03. He came with Jason Bay, who's been the all-star outfielder for the Pirates. Very good player. They thought they had a cornerstone outfielder and a guy that they could build their rotation around for a decade. Rolen fights off the pitch and gets a base hit into right. Second Cardinal hit of the night.
Joe, when we met with Tony La Russa the night before the game, you asked Tony about Rolen swinging the bat a lot better last night, and he absolutely agreed with you. While we talk about Rolen, there's an idea about what Oliver Perez did 2 years ago. 5th in the league in earned run average and 4th in strikeouts.
It's been a steady decline. He started out 0 for 3, 0 and 3, and then went 12 and 10, 7 and 5, and then 2 and 10, and see you later. 1 on, nobody out. Edmonds at the plate, and check on Rolen by Perez.
And really, a couple years ago, when he was having that fantastic year with all those strikeouts, myself being a left-handed hitter, this guy was no walk in the park. He's very uncomfortable for a left-handed hitter being up there because of the velocity that he has.
Edmonds in the number 6 spot tonight. The lefty takes a ball. Willie Randolph talking to us about what they've tried to do with Oliver Perez and their pitching coach Rick Peterson. He said it's more about a rhythm. It's not so much mechanics within the delivery as Edmonds fouls it, but it's the mechanics getting into the delivery. More from the windup, but kind of that rocking motion that he has trying to find a consistent start to his delivery to the plate.
Everybody talks about a release point, but the cadence and rhythm of a motion equally important as that release point. You hear a lot about release point, but you don't hear a lot about rhythm that often.
The 1-1 to Edmonds is hit in the air to left field. Chavez coming to get it. Has it, and that's out number 1.
Second baseman, Beltrán.
Straight back leg. So far, so good tonight for Oliver Perez.
He's actually been better out of the stretch than he's been winding up. Gave up a leadoff hit in each of the first 2 innings, and a breaking ball drops into Belliard.
That's normally not a good sign, because that means the starting pitcher is in a stretch more than he is winding up. You don't want to become too comfortable from the stretch if you're a starting pitcher. It means you've allowed a lot of guys to get on.
Perez just threw that ball out of play over toward the Cardinal dugout for whatever reason. 1 on, 1 out, no balls, 1 strike. Just misses. 1-1. So far, so good with the control as well. 4.93 walks per 9 innings pitched. The 3rd highest ratio among active pitchers. Good, nasty delivery. Down and in, and Belliard could not hold up. It's 1-2.
Yeah, that's that slider biting down and in. And you can see that feeble swing by Belliard. He missed that ball by a foot.
The 1-2 pitch. Belliard chops it. Foul. Rolen retreats to first. A leadoff hit by Rolen into right. And that's more of the same for Scott, who came in a .450 career hitter against Oliver Perez. Some of these fans downtown are worn out today. They were at the Dome watching the Rams and Seahawks. Heartbreaking loss for the St. Louis Rams earlier today. Had a 14-point halftime lead and lost it right at the end of the game. Little fly ball into right, and it's a base hit for Belliard. Rolen will come around third, and he's held by Oquendo. First and third, 1 out.
That is excellent base running by Scott Rolen, one of the best base runners in the National League. He was off immediately, taking a chance and knowing that Beltrán was playing Belliard very deep. Ball slicing away from Beltrán. It hits the ground off the webbing. And a good play by Sean Green to back up the play, but you can see Scott Rolen. There's none of that hanky-panky between first and second. He was off with the sound of the bat. Hits third, looks around. Good base running, Scott Rolen.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Tim. As a base runner, once you commit yourself, you might as well just go for it, because if not, he was going to get doubled up anyway.
First and third, 1 out. Yadier Molina, who has been an excellent hitter with runners in scoring position. .429 this postseason, has a chance to put the Cardinals out in front. Rolen at third, and Belliard with a flare hit into right center. He's at first. Molina 49 RBIs, which is tough to do when you hit .216 during the regular season. He made the most of his chances. He grounds to third, fair, down the line. Rolen will score. Belliard will try to make it to third. Throw there. He is out. Perfect throw by Endy Chavez, but the Cardinals lead 1-0.
often when you're thrown out at a base, it's the best base running play. I know that sounds strange, but more base running mistakes are made when you don't try to take the extra base. This is a good go by Belliard, but Chavez up with it immediately and throws him out at third base. If he stops at second, you had the pitcher hitting. He's going to bunch you over anyway. Good play by Chavez.
Now it's Reyes up there to swing the bat. He swings very well. Chops it foul off to the right with Molina, the runner, at first. And we go back to the near play by David Wright. Missed it by a hair. It has been going that way for the Mets the last couple of games. That's on the inside corner, 0-2. Jerry Manuel, longtime manager of the White Sox, is the bench coach for Willie Randolph. Reyes checks his swing. The ball misses. 1-2. Three out of 25 swinging it during the regular season for the Cardinals. Do not hold against Molina over at first, and Reyes chops to Delgado. Nice pickup on the short hop. The inning is over. The Cardinals strike first. 2, 3, and 4 hitters now for the Mets, and they have got to get something going. Anthony Reyes brings it home. Loduca takes a strike. How about this? We know that the bullpen phone rings down the other way, where it rings in the bullpen. Somebody from the pen called down into the dugout and needed the bat boy, I would imagine, to go get something for him. Talk about a surprised kid. What? You want me to get on the phone?
Bullpen reversed the charges.
Yeah.
It's got to be a scary thought when you have the pitching coach handing the kid the phone.
Yeah.
Unless somebody's messing with that kid out in the bullpen, which is a distinct possibility.
It's been known to happen many a times.
0-2 is the count on Loduca. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Loduca, Beltrán, Delgado. Loduca fly to center his first time up. Hard hit, but right at Eckstein. 1 down. Beltrán coming up. First pitch to Carlos is over the outside corner for strike 1. 29-year-old switch hitting center fielder with a world of talent came up in the Kansas City organization. Traded to Houston, signed a big deal with the Mets. And he hooks one down the right field line. Might go. Back in the corner. It's gone, and this game is tied. Beltrán hits a home run into right, and with that, hits his 6th home run against Cardinal pitching in the postseason in 11 games.
He may not be a good golfer, but he's a good left-handed hitter.
A line drive that just jumped out of here down the line, and Beltrán has made this a new game.
Yeah, we talked about falling in love with that changeup, and that was a changeup to Beltrán. 2nd home run of the LCS, as he waits for it and hammers it. First time in 14 straight innings that the Mets have scored.
So Beltrán, who went deep for the only runs of the night in game 1 to back Tom Glavine, ties this game, and Delgado takes a pitch up and away, ball 1. Again, 40 regular season games against Cardinal pitching for Beltrán, 10 home runs. He is now hit home run number 6 against Cardinal pitching in the postseason. And he's out of coffee. 2-0 pitch skips in there from Reyes, 3-0. The bat boy could get more coffee if he wasn't running errands for the bullpen. Beltrán will just skip it and have a seat. Oh, he's back. 1 out, nobody on. 3 balls, no strikes on Delgado. Takes a strike. They're the 6 home runs. And in their franchise history, the player with the most home runs in the postseason, Babe Ruth, in the World Series back in the 20s. Delgado pops it up on 3-1. Left field for Spezio, staggering a little and makes the catch. 2 out.
In 1926, the St. Louis Cardinals won their first World Championship, and the World Series ended with Babe Ruth being thrown out at second base. So a caught stealing, even though he had 7 home runs in those two World Series, he was caught stealing to end the World Series in 1926.
Oh, and the call-in shows just lit up the next day. With 2 out, nobody on. Wright hits one in the air to left field, might get up and out. Spezio back, and the Mets take the lead. David Wright gets his first hit of this series, and it's a home run to make it 2-1 Mets here in the 3rd inning. Wright needed it, the Mets needed it, and they have the lead.
That was a situation with 2 out and nobody on where David Wright went up looking in a zone, looking for a pitch. He got it and hammered it. Looking fastball right down the pipe, and Wright puts the Mets on top.
The Mets played in St. Louis 3 games during the regular season, and I asked Wright before last night's game if he remembered how this park played. That was the question the first half of the year, with this being a new stadium. He said, I remember down the lines the ball really jumps. We saw that with Beltrán's home run with 1 out in this inning. He said you really got to pound it to get it out in the power alleys, and Wright just did that to make it 2-1 Mets.
First hit of the league championship series.
Now 1 for 11. Sean Green takes a strike, 1-1. On the outside corner, 1-2. Reyes gave up 17 home runs during 85 and a third innings for the regular season. Now he has given up 2 within this 3rd inning. And the Mets lead by 1. Side to Green, 2-2.
You know, when you're a player like Wright, you've done so much for your team throughout the whole season. You come into this championship series and you haven't done anything. You start mounting up, putting a little bit more pressure on yourself. I'm sure there's a big load off his back now, considering he hit that home run.
2-2 pitch. Green is fooled with a changeup, and the inning is over, but the Mets are on top. Top of the order for St. Louis, Eckstein, Spezio, and Pujols against Oliver Perez, who has a lead. 2-1 Mets on the strength of a Beltrán home run and then a David Wright blast into left. Eckstein singled his first time up. Cardinals have put a couple on in each of the first 2 innings. Count evens here, 1 ball, 1 strike. Eckstein out in front a bit, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Good slider so far on the evening for Perez.
Eckstein fouls it. That's like the sun coming up in the morning. 2 strikes on Eckstein, and then a foul ball usually follows. There's one of the Tiger scouts in attendance here tonight. World Series starts on Saturday. Now another foul. Count still 1-2.
Right off the left shin of David Eckstein.
Einstein missed about a month with a strained oblique muscle. And then came back and pulled his hamstring. He had to fight just to get healthy down the stretch. Didn't play much the last 2 weeks for the Cardinals. Finally got back in there in the end. Looks to be healthy now. Took that foul ball off the leg and now waits for another 1-2 from Perez. Into right center field, and Green to his right takes it in, 1 out.
Interesting to note that both home runs off Anthony Reyes in the top of the 3rd inning were from the windup. Carlos Beltrán to tie it looked like a breaking ball. So with the score 1-1, David Wright with a fastball, and then to Sean Green. Reyes started working from the stretch. We'll see how he works when he comes out in the top of the 4th, from the windup or the stretch.
Well, before Green came up, Dave Duncan trotted out there after the home run by David Wright. They had a quick meeting. Who knows if that was suggested by Dave Duncan? You would imagine that it was. Pujols on deck, Spezio up on the count here, 2-0.
Sometimes when a pitcher works from the stretch, he doesn't try to throw too hard. That expression in baseball, he stays within himself, doesn't try to do too much.
That's ball 3.
It's all about comfort, too. He probably feels a little bit better, more confidence with some of his pitches going out of the stretch.
That's high, a 4-pitch walk in front of Albert Pujols. The most anticipated game show of the year is finally here. It's the only show with no limit to how rich you can get. The Rich List. Series premiere Wednesday, November 1st at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on Fox. Here's a guy on that list for good reason. Albert Pujols, with what he's done his first 6 years of his big league life. Perez makes a good pitch, does not get the call, ball 1. Good pitch again from Perez. He gets it here, 1-1. The career numbers for Pujols: 3 home runs in 25 at-bats against this New York left-hander. All of that done while Perez was with Pittsburgh. 2-1. Lines it. Reyes drops it, and they're going to call Pujols out. The second base umpire popped in there. Gary Darling ruled the batted ball caught, in essence, by Reyes, who was trying to drop it and turn it into a double play.
Yeah, dropped it intentionally because of the slow runner. Quick thinking by Reyes. You lose nothing with this. But it's a bad acting job. He almost set it on the ground instead of dropping it. I think I'll catch it and then put it on the ground and maybe get away with it. But what's this?
Spezio wasn't biting.
I'll catch it and can't do that. Intentionally drop it, but what do you have to lose?
I don't think Spezio knew what to do. He was at first thinking, uh-oh, wait, do I run? Do I not? Is it a catch? Isn't it? Spezio at first. The batter is Encarnacion, and he takes ball 1.
Almost. Hey, Scott, almost.
Yeah, he really has fun when he's playing this game. You see him during stretch and everything. He's dancing around. He's having a great time out there.
Encarnacion shoots the gap in right center field. That ball is going to tie this game. Encarnacion ends up at third. It's 2-2.
Boy, that is terrific hitting by Encarnacion. Ball is right on the outside part, hammered to right center field. And the thing about it is it had carried, and carried by Sean Green. How odd is it? We played 4 games, and 2 Cardinal players have 2 triples. Spezio has 2, Encarnacion has 2, and a big one with this one.
It's rolling with Encarnacion at third, and rolling skies one into center field for Beltrán. That'll do it for St. Louis, but they get another 2-out RBI triple. This time it's Spezio scoring instead of hitting it. 2-2 after 3. And here is Reyes starting the inning from the stretch.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
the 2 home runs, and then he threw from the stretch to Sean Green.
You know, and Tim, sometimes, you know, in the Cardinals dugout, they may think, well, maybe the Mets are picking something up off the pitcher, and you should try to change your look a little bit, so they put him back in the stretch.
0-1 the count as Valentin went after the first delivery, and now that's high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I mean, that would seem to make sense because Dave Duncan went out to the mound after the home run by Wright, and Reyes is pitching from the stretch since then.
And sometimes that happens with runners on second base. You'll see the catcher run out and tell the pitcher, we're going to change our signs, because sometimes they think the runners are giving the pitcher's location.
Valentin fouls it back, 1-2. Cardinals have always been aware, as any team is, but it's something that they talk about a lot with this team, about tipping pitches and whether the guy on the mound is giving something away before he delivers the ball to the plate. That could be the case as to why Reyes now is scrapped pitching from the windup. Down and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Valentin.
Well, from my experience, more pitchers tip pitches from the windup than they do from the stretch, because it's a frontal view that a hitter has, not a side view.
Now a full count.
Everything from the stretch is more or less hit, whereas when you're winding up, you're fronting the hitter, or he's confronting you. So there's more to see from a windup than there is the stretch.
2-2 game, 4th inning, 3-2 pitch to Valentin. Jose only 2 hits the entire postseason, but Willie Randolph has stayed with him. Woodward is the guy who could fill in at second base, or Anderson Hernandez, but Valentin has played well defensively, hasn't carried his offensive struggles out there with him. Still a full count.
Interestingly, Jose Valentin owns a Winter League baseball team in Puerto Rico. There are 6 teams that play in that Winter League, and he owns Manatí in Puerto Rico. He's owned that team for 3 years.
That's down and in, a leadoff walk, and a good start to the inning for the Mets. Here is our game summary, brought to you by Verizon Wireless. It's a 2-2 game. The Mets hitting 2 home runs to have a brief lead at the top of the 3rd. In the bottom half, the 3rd triple of this series for the Cardinals. It belongs to Encarnacion, scoring Spezio from first with 2 out to make it 2-2. Now Reyes has handed out the leadoff walk, and Endy Chavez is the hitter. Endy has a hit already tonight. 4 walks now given to the Mets by Reyes. Breaking ball misses, ball 1. Roberto Hernandez is just keeping the muscles loose. He would likely be one of the long relievers tonight for the Mets. Darren Oliver is off the list after pitching 6 innings last night. There's Chavez trying to wheel on a pitch, gets under it, and fouls it to Yadier Molina. They want him to hit the ball on the ground, and that was not a let's hit the ball on the ground swing. 1 out.
It wasn't a let's hit the ball on the ground pitch. It was up around the letters. Easy play for Molina. Now look for Perez to bunt.
Yeah, and that's playing right there into the pitcher's hand. You want to try to elevate a ball on a guy like that likes slapping the ball on the ground, getting it past it, drawn in third baseman, which is Scott Rowland, where he was playing very close in on the grass.
Runner at first is Valentin. 1 out. And Perez will try to move him along. Pulls back from strike 1. Oliver Perez trying to put Valentin in scoring position for Reyes, who out of the leadoff spot drove home 81 runs this season. A terrific total for a guy at the top of a lineup. Also tells you how good this lineup was top to bottom, because there were plenty of guys on in front of him. Throw down to first, and a wide throw by Molina. That's one of his specialties, and a guy who, if you're leading off any base, you better be aware.
Quick throw in foul territory, but a strong throw by a strong throwing catcher. Off balance, throwing behind Perez.
One ball, one strike. And Reyes won't bring it home. That's something called from the dugout. And Reyes was just sitting there waiting, now ready for a 1-1 delivery. In for strike 2. Perez has taken 2 strikes, up there to bunt. Check on Valentin. .62 degrees at the start of the night. The temperature has been dropping as we have continued on through this game, and this crowd very quiet. Watching a 2-2 game. Perez was going to swing and took it for ball 2. Swing and a miss, struck him out, and for Anthony Reyes, strikeout number 4. So Oliver Perez took 2 pitches for strikes trying to bunt, and then swings through this. Does not advance Valentin.
Stumbling on that swing. So Perez doesn't do the job moving Green along.
You know, last night we watched Suppan, and the headlines are going to be for the home run that he hit and the pitching. 8 shutout innings. But he also sacrificed twice.
Yeah.
And put runners in scoring position. And it's the little things like that that for a guy like Oliver Perez, who this season was 2-10 with Pittsburgh and 3-13 overall, you don't do that little stuff. That hurts you. It adds up and it costs you. And with a guy like Reyes batting behind you, could be a missed opportunity for the Mets.
And that's why they do it in spring training so much. And a lot of pitchers usually just go through the motions because they want to go up there and hit all the time. But this is where it pays dividends off, right here in postseason play. That's why you do it in spring training, to master it down, to be able to move those runners along, because every run is important.
First pitch looked low but was called a strike on Jose Reyes. Counts 0-1. Anthony Reyes is trying to pitch around a leadoff walk. To the shortstop, Eckstein has to wait for Belliard. Edmonds, Belliard, and Molina. If anybody gets on a pinch hitter, you know that for two reasons. One, Brad Thompson is getting loose for the Cardinals in their bullpen, and two, we had a discussion with Tony La Russa during the break, which we will play for you here in a moment. Edmonds fly to left his first time up.
A revealing interview with Tony La Russa.
That's wide and low, 1-2 on Edmonds. Reyes is finished after 4, allows 2 runs on 3 hits, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts. Perez does not get the corner, 2-2. Edmonds bailing a little on that pitch. There's Thompson. He will take over in the 5th inning. Deal with Loduca, Beltrán, and Delgado. Edmonds hits it in the air to left. Chavez back at the track to haul it in. 1 away. Here is our visit with Cardinal manager Tony La Russa. Well, Tony La Russa, we've seen Anthony Reyes try and settle into this start. How would you rate his performance so far?
No, I mean, that's going to be it for him, but I thought he handled himself real well. Dunk made the trip. I think we were reading him from there as far as the windup, so he changed it and went from the stretch and got the out. So 2-2, he did his job.
What specifically did you see from the windup that you didn't like, and what was it that made you guys switch him to the stretch?
No, just that they were reading. He was tipping his pitches, so that's the only difference.
And as you look forward in this game, we had 2 unknowns pitching to start this. Anthony Reyes for you, and you tell us now at the start of this, he's finished for the night?
Yeah, I think that's a good place to stop him. If we get to the 4th spot, Chris Duncan will hit. Brad Thompson pitches the 5th.
All right, thank you very much, Phil. Tony La Russa talking while Ronnie Belliard singles for the 2nd time tonight. Beltrán throws in behind him. But Belliard is back to first safely with his 2nd hit. Molina coming up.
And Gonzo, Tony La Russa confirming your suspicions about Reyes tipping his pitches.
Well, Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan are very smart coaches over there, and they obviously saw something that they were picking up on the other side. So he wanted it. Duncan runs out there, tells him we need to switch it up here. I know it may not feel comfortable to you here going out of the windup, or yeah, because the other team's seen it, so let's go with a stretch. And it ended up striking out Sean Green.
Check on Belliard, and nearly a wild throw by Oliver Perez. Yadier Molina singled home a run. His first time up, putting the Cardinals on top. Then the Mets got 2 home runs. Beltrán and David Wright to take a lead. The Cardinals tied it with a 2-out RBI triple by Encarnacion in the 3rd, and now bat in the 4th. Molina checked his swing, went around. Perez came awfully close to a balk right there. Barely came to a set position before he delivered to the plate. I think it threw the timing of Molina off, who walks down toward the 3rd base coach, Jose Oquendo.
Well, you have to stop at 1001. You also have to have the hands in the same spot every time you deliver the ball home.
Here's a 1-1. Molina takes down and away. Showed you Randy Flores in the bullpen. He has joined Brad Thompson. Lefty and a righty getting loose with the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming up for New York in the 5th.
Ideal hit and run count. Molina puts the ball in play on the ground. Stay out of the double play by sending the runner. The 2-ball and 1 count. The perfect hit and run count.
Dave McKay, first base coach, yelling at Belliard to get back. He's over there reading the move of Oliver Perez as much as Belliard is. That pitch almost got away from Loduca. 3-1.
Sometimes you're glad you don't hit and run. Had the hit and run been on there, Belliard would have been dead at second base. That was a pitch that Molina could not handle.
Man on deck is Chris Duncan. He has come out as a bat in his hands. He'll bat for Reyes. 1 on, 1 out. 3-1 pitch, full count. Good 95-mile-an-hour fastball from Oliver Perez. Up and away to Molina.
And the thing you were talking about earlier about the hit and run, another thing too with Belliard at first, a left-handed pitcher on the mound, you have to kind of hold your ground a little bit longer just in case something like that happens, that the hitter swings through the pitch, then the catcher has a little bit more time to throw him out.
Yeah, 3-2 count or a hit and run. You have to make sure the pitcher goes home. Unforgivable to be picked off in a situation like that.
There goes the runner on a 3-2 pitch. Belliard will have to come back. Expect to see Belliard run again. There he goes. Molina takes strike 3 and the throw down. Belliard is safe as Valentin did not get the tag on the foot of Belliard.
I'll tell you, Molina came very, very close to interfering with Loduca. You could understand him getting in the way if he swung at the ball, but he takes it. Now watch how he ducks in there, and Loduca has to throw over him. I mean, if interference is called in a situation like that, you can certainly understand it. Belliard hit the dirt, and the tag was made, but he didn't touch him. Here it is one more time. Watch Molina lean in right there, forcing Loduca to throw over him. And the Valentin tag is premature.
Now it's Duncan batting for Reyes, and he takes a breaking ball from Perez.
I was impressed by the slide Belliard made because it almost looked like he stopped.
Yeah.
Saw the tag and then went around it to get his foot on the bag.
I don't know whether he did that intentionally or not. You have to be pretty smart to do this intentionally. To stop and then tag the bag.
Duncan hits it up the middle. Valentin, great pick, throws out at first, and that saved a run because coming around third was Belliard with the out at first. Valentin, a good play, got Duncan by a step. Still tied after 4. Back after this from your local Fox station. Brad Thompson takes over for St. Louis, 5th inning, a 2-2 game. Mets have 3 hits, but 2 of them have left the park. Beltrán and Wright in the 3rd inning. And now here in the 5th, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters, Loduca, Beltrán, Delgado. And Thompson comes out representing the first member of the bullpen that has been the difference for the Cardinals so far this postseason. First pitch strike to Loduca. Breaking ball misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Loduca tonight has fly to center, grounded out to short. And that was against Reyes. Now the 1-1. Loduca slaps at it. 1-2. grounds it to the right of Belliard, and he kicks it. Ball came up for him, and Belliard did not make the play. That could be his second error this postseason.
Yeah, this is a play that should be made. That ball came up, and it looked like sometimes when you play that deeply, it burns you. He may have taken his eye off the ball, but that is a good hop and an error on Ron Belliard.
Number 2 of the postseason. Made 3 after being picked up by the Cardinals, and here's Beltrán. So maybe that is a start for the Mets in this 2-2 game. 5th inning, first pitch, Beltrán bunting. Bunting for a hit, but that has made the two, well, at least one former player and one current player to my right, shake their head a little bit.
Yeah, that's an odd play right there. And Beltrán does that a lot. You get the thing, he's paid $119 million over 7 years to hit, not bunt.
And do that. Grounds one sharply through the right side, and the first 2 are on here in the 5th inning against Brad Thompson. An error, a hit, and Delgado is coming up through the end of this inning. Brad Thompson is going to have to do some phenomenal pitching. Delgado with 2 on and nobody out. Wright will follow, and then Sean Green.
Getting back to Beltrán bunting there, I think the Cardinals would welcome him to bunt.
Absolutely.
The way he's hit some home runs against him in the past.
Be my guest.
Delgado takes ball 1. Decent speed on for the Mets with Loduca the lead runner at second. Beltrán on at first. And Delgado 0 for 1 with a walk. Facing Thompson for the first time. 2-0. Delgado waiting for his pitch and flying one in the air to left field. Well hit. Back is Spezio at the wall. A 3-run home run. Delgado's 3rd of this series, and it's a 5-2 Mets lead here in the 5th. An error, a single, and a blast by Delgado.
Falling behind in the count was Brad Thompson, and the 3rd home run of this LCS for Delgado, all of them to left field. Just enormous strength. And the Mets have a 3-run lead.
Started with an error by Belliard, then Beltrán to hit. And little relief in that Mets dugout. Wright is taken care of by Thompson as he strikes out. First out here in the top of the 5th.
Good fastball tailing into David Wright.
.91 miles per hour, 1 out. Here is Sean Green. Mets are now 3 for 20 with runners in scoring position in this series against Cardinal pitching as Green shoots one into right center field for a hit. Encarnacion over to cut it off, and it's 1 on, 1 out. Valentin will be the hitter, and if Reyes was tipping his pitches, so far the Mets have had no trouble picking up Brad Thompson. Randy Flores getting loose now. And Oliver Perez has a 5-2 5th inning lead. It will be game 5 of this NLCS tomorrow night from here in St. Louis, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. And it will be a rematch from game 1 as Tom Glavine, who got the victory for the Mets, takes on Jeff Weaver. Check on on Green, with Valentine waiting for the first pitch at the plate. Here's what happened in game 1. Here comes Tony La Russa out. Make a pitching change. Glavine went 7, allowed no runs on 4 hits, got the win. Jeff Weaver, 5 2/3, gave up the 2-run home run hit by Carlos Beltrán in game 1. They hook up again tomorrow night. Mets trying to even this best-of-7 series at 2 games apiece. Delgado goes deep, a 3-run shot and a pitching change here in the 5th. Randy Flores, the left-hander, is into the game. That turns Valentine around. He bats right-handed. And Valentine goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Right center field, and 3 players are all looking at each other. Everybody is safe. Belliard, Edmonds, and Encarnacion. Edmonds did not take charge, and that falls in. It'll be a hit for Valentine. And first and second with only 1 out. All 3 of them could have caught it.
A team that played such brilliant defense last night coming apart at the seams here in the 5th inning of this ball game. It all started with Belliard's error. That set the scene, opened up the right side for Beltrán, then the 3-run homer. And now a misplayed ball in right field. I mean, just a point here, but what if the Mets get the bases loaded and have 1 out? I mean, wouldn't you want to pinch hit for Perez? Why wouldn't you have somebody throwing in the bullpen right now to get ready just in case they load him up with 1 out?
Right now the bullpen is quiet for the Mets, and last night they were bailed out by Darren Oliver, who gave 6 innings to take the load off the bullpen. And it would tell you that the Mets believe in what Perez is doing out on the mound, which is an iffy proposition considering what he brings with him to the mound at the start of the night. A 2-10 record with the Pirates and 1-3 with the Mets, but no action in the bullpen. A 1-1 to Chavez. To the right side, Belliard hits the middleman, and that's it. First and third, 2 out. And with nobody warming up, Oliver Perez will walk to the plate, 0 for 1. St. Louis will have the top of their lineup in the bottom of this 5th inning and be trailing by at least 3. So far, Thompson went 1/3 of an inning, allowed 3 runs, 2 earned on 3 hits. No walks and 1 strikeout. Oliver Perez had 4 base hits in 38 trips during the regular season. Strike 1. And if that swing is any indication, on a pitch like that, the odds are not in Oliver's favor in this matchup.
No, I'm not quite so sure that he wasn't taken there. He just missed a sign, because usually when pitchers come up in this situation, you try to work a walk or take some pitches to try to get your leadoff hitter to come up with runners on.
Looked like he was taking there no matter what the pitch was, and it was called ball 1. First and third, 2 out. 5-2, the Mets on top here in the 5th. 2-1. Reyes next. Perez just standing there and taking strike 2. 2-2. Crowd tries to get back in it. Over but low, a full count. That means that the runner at first, Chavez, will go. Runner goes. Perez strikes out. Thanks to a 3-run home run by Delgado, his second of this series. Eckstein, the leadoff hitter, takes a strike. 1 for 2 tonight. Singled into left center field his first time up. One ball, one strike. Mets bullpen now is starting to get busy as Chad Bradford loosens up. Two and one from Perez. We had a chance to visit with Willie Randolph during the last break, and we'll play that for you when we get a chance. Eckstein waits for a 2-1 delivery. And Eckstein hits one into deep left field. Back at the wall. Eckstein homers. It's 5-3. Spezio with nobody on or out. Strike one.
Only 2 home runs on the season, and his first of the postseason. Knew a fastball was coming, got one, and hit it hard. Big fly.
Crowd chanting Spezio as he falls in the hole. 0-2.
You know what I like about the home run? He's an old school. Ran right around the bases. Didn't take the 20 minutes going around. Did it like he's done it before.
Even though he hasn't that often. How about this statistic for you? In this series, the Mets have scored in 7 innings. The Cardinals have come back to score their next at bat 5 times. Spezio strikes out. Willie Randolph chatted with us during the break. Well, Willie Randolph, Oliver Perez has done the job for you so far tonight to hold the Cardinals down, and you just got exactly what you needed with Carlos Delgado doing his thing.
Well, the big man always come through big for us. To go the other way like that on that pitch is awesome. But Ollie's throwing the ball well. You know, we wanted to get a quality start out of him, and so far so good.
So far so good, and specifically, what do you like about the way Oliver Perez is pitching tonight?
Well, he's around the plate throwing strikes, you know, using all his pitches basically, and just really just bearing down when he has to. He has a tendency sometimes to get away from himself, but he's been pretty focused tonight.
Now that we're into the 5th inning and we're getting into the middle innings here, are you starting to think about that bullpen, and how rested is your bullpen after the job that Darren Oliver did for you last night?
No, everyone's well rested and ready to go. Ali did a great job picking us up last night, and all my big horses are ready to go.
All right, thank you, Willie. Meanwhile, with a count 2-0, Pujols takes a strike. 2-1. Pujols then Encarnacion against Oliver Perez, who is trying to get through 5. The lead is now 2. Pujols 0 for 2. Takes another strike. 2-2. Tomorrow night starter Tom Glavine. Two from Perez. Pujols strikes out on high heat. 2 out.
That's an at-bat that you don't see too often from Albert Pujols. Count ran to 2-0. He takes a 2-0 pitch, a fastball. He takes a 2-1 pitch, and then swings through a bad ball. You don't see that type of at bat from Albert Pujols that often.
Pujols still without an RBI in this NLCS. It's Encarnacion, who has an RBI triple, fouls away strike one. Oliver Perez gives up the leadoff home run, then strikes out the red-hot Spezio and Pujols. Encarnacion into center for Beltrán, and this game 4 is through 5 innings. Game 4, it's a 2-run lead for the Mets, and Josh Hancock takes over. Deals with the top of the order for New York, and Reyes takes a strike. Jose Reyes, Paul Lo Duca, Beltrán, 5-3 Mets. If the Mets win tonight, it guarantees that this series will get back to Shea Stadium. On the outside corner, 0-2.
Reyes frustrated a bit because the Mets keep pounding away, trying to get that fly ball the other way.
An 0-2 delivery is in the dirt. Cardinals up 2-1. The Mets trying to even this series, and Reyes is 0 for 3 tonight. All 5 of the New York runs have come on home runs. Jose Reyes is on a very short list. Only 2 players since World War II have stolen 60 or more bases and driven in 80 or more runs in the same season. Joe Morgan did it, the Hall of Famer, in 73, 75, and 76. And Reyes did it this year, 81 RBIs and 64 steals.
That's amazing when you think of a leadoff hitter driving in 80 RBIs.
Guys down at the bottom of this order getting on, so when the lineup turned over, he was in a spot to knock somebody in. Don't forget, you can watch the World Series on Fox. It's your duty, Judy. It starts this Saturday night. Baseball's new pitch man, Tommy Lasorda.
Duty, Judy.
Here's a 2-2 pitch from Hancock. Reyes starts it with a base hit into right. Jose is on for the first time tonight as he rounds the bag, but scampers back, claps his hands together.
You notice if you get the ball on the inside part of the plate, Reyes can hammer it. That ball down and in. So the Cardinals have been trying to pitch him up and away. It's hard to throw a strike to a left-handed batter up and away continuously. So Reyes gets his pitch, and now he leads off the 6th with a base hit.
Now Lo Duca. Rolling about even with a bag at third. How do the Mets want to play it? No sign of a bunt, and if that's the case, then you keep your eyes on Reyes over at first. Talked about the stolen bases. He has not stolen one in this NLCS against Molina.
Yeah, I think if you bunt in this situation, you waste a good hitter. A guy who is the best hitter in the National League since July 1st.
And if he's going to run, you look for him to run here early in the count.
There's so many things you could do. You could wait until he steals and then either have Lo Duca bunt or give himself up with a ground ball the other way. You could hit and run. This tandem is a very tough twosome. Guy who puts the bat on the ball and the major league stolen base leader.
He's going, and Lo Duca grounds a base hit through the left side. Reyes will go to third. So the Mets stay aggressive. They start the runner. Reyes there running, and Lo Duca grounds one through the open left side. First and third, nobody out here in the 6th.
Reyes going, the ball down in the strike zone, and the ground ball past Roland And since Reyes was running, he makes it to third easily. So a first and third, nobody out for the Mets. And how many times this year has that twosome done that? Many.
So now Beltrán digs in. First and third, nobody out. Beltrán's had a big night. A walk, a homer, a single, another run scored. Strike one. Right at Jerry Manuel and Willie Randolph. Walked in the first, homered to tie the game in the third inning, 1-1. And then singled after the error by Belliard and the ball hit by Loduca in front of the 3-run home run by Delgado. On the inside corner, good pitch, 0-2. Ball one. Reyes at third. Loduca put him over there. The base hit through the left side. He's at first. Smothered by Molina, 2-2.
You know, it's amazing here. Belliard's playing in the hole between first and second, but they're really giving Beltrán that whole right center field side of the infield. I mean, there's a huge hole. Eckstein's playing up the middle, and they're giving him right where the umpire's standing, that whole line there to try to get a base hit.
Willie Randolph and the Mets fell behind tonight 1-0. They came right back in the third inning, took the lead. Cardinals tied it. Mets back out on top. They have a chance to add to what is now a 5-3 lead. 2-2. It's a full count. Three balls, two strikes. Beltrán takes a walk, so Hancock had him set up at 0-2. Lets Beltrán loose. 2 hits, a walk, and the bases are loaded for Carlos Delgado, who in game 2 off Carpenter hit a 3-run shot, and another the opposite way. Then in the 5th inning tonight, goes to left, another 3-run blast. Made it 5-2. Dave Duncan with his arm around Molina, trying to calm down Hancock. Tyler Johnson gets loose. And while we have a second, our HP player personality is Carlos Delgado. Favorite movie, Shawshank Redemption. Favorite actor in Shawshank Redemption, Morgan Freeman. Likes to scuba dive in the off season. Likes to hit during the season. HP, the computer, is personal again. 400+ career home runs. Bases loaded, nobody out. Ball one, not close from Hancock.
Cardinals hopeful of a ground ball at one of the infielders. That's a tough assignment with Delgado, who hits a lot of fly balls.
1-0 pitch from the Cardinal right-hander is hit in the air to left center field. Back is Spezio on the run. Took the wrong angle. It takes a hop, and it's a ground rule double. 2 runs will score, and it's now a 7-3 New York lead as Delgado has knocked home 5. Not saying that Spezio could have caught it, should have caught it, but he took the wrong route to the ball.
That is absolutely a valid point because he ran under the ball tailing. Not saying that's not an easy play any way you look at it. But you could see him running under the ball and the ball bouncing to his left. Yet another extra base hit for Delgado.
So Delgado has walked, fly to left, hit a 3-run home run and a 2-run double. Infield is in, nobody out. Second and third for Wright, who's homered tonight, takes a ball.
Just watching it with the naked eye, it looked like Beltrán came back to tag up. And Delgado, had he not been alert, would have run by Beltrán. But Carlos took off in time, seeing the ball bounce.
Another one in the dirt, and Hancock continues to fall behind these hitters. The only guy he got out in front of was Beltrán, and he walked him. 2-0 on David Wright. Wright's only hit in this series a home run in the 3rd inning. 1 for 12.
Oh, the Mets fans ought to be getting excited now. They finally got their 3, 4, 5 guys in the orders. Each have a home run tonight. They're swinging the bat very well and driving in runs.
What's Wright doing on 3-0? He's taking ball 4 down and away. Green's coming up, and that should be it for Josh Hancock. It is. So the walk, it's been a hit, a single, another single, a walk, a 2-run double, a walk. Hancock is gone. As the Mets have pounded 3 home runs tonight, they've put a couple more on the board here in the 6th inning and have a chance to bust it wide open. With Sean Green at the plate, bases loaded, nobody out. Ball 1 from Tyler Johnson, the left-hander, who has been so good down the stretch and in the postseason for the Cardinals. Hancock didn't get anybody out. Allowed 3 hits, 2 walks. So far, 2 runs. Green with a big swing. 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Joe, the Cardinals bullpen had been so good all postseason, and you knew it would be in play tonight with Anthony Reyes starting. Entering this game, Cardinals opponents were 1 for 27 against the bullpen with runners in scoring position. Carlos Delgado has single-handedly wrecked that statistic with 2 hits and runners in scoring position tonight.
Yeah, Delgado's had the big night, Ken, with a 3-run home run, a 2-run double. And he has been the hitting star again, as he almost was. The headlines were not about Delgado after his 2-homer night. Game 2, it was more about the Cardinal comeback. Here's a 1-1. It's high, 2-1.
Well, you give Delgado a chance to extend those arms, and he has just as much power to left field as most right-handed hitters. 5 of his 6 hits, all for extra bases, have been to left field in this league championship series.
Green is fooled on the pitch by Johnson. 2-2.
A lot of left-handed hitters like the ball down and in.
Not down there.
Not there.
No. Bases loaded, nobody out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Green with a better rip at that pitch. Still 2-2.
Yeah, that was a hanger right up around the letters. Don't see too many of them with Johnson, who's been so successful in the postseason. And Sean Green realizing he misses this pitch.
He was loaded up and thinking grand slam and fouled it straight back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Green sticks the bat out and spoils the pitch. Five RBIs tonight for Delgado, ties a Mets single postseason game record. Tony La Russa studying his lineup card. He will have Rolen, Edmonds, and Belliard batting in the bottom of the 6th. 2-2 pitch yet again. And Green dumps it into left center field. That ball's going to get down for a hit. Only 1 run scores. That's Beltrán, and it's now an 8-3 New York lead.
That is just great hitting by Sean Green. Slider after slider from Johnson. And Green's head right on that slider low and away. That was a tough pitch by Johnson right in that area right there. A little lower, actually. Just serving it into left center field.
Still nobody out. Bases loaded for Valentin. And a strike from Tyler Johnson. Well, we came on the air tonight, guys, talking about the matchup of Anthony Reyes and Oliver Perez, 2 guys who combined to win 8 games all year. Anthony Reyes pitched the first 4 innings. Tony La Russa went to his bullpen, called on Thompson. He struggled. And now Hancock has struggled in this inning, and the Mets have blown it open. In to score is Delgado. Coming around third and scoring is Wright. All the way from first base is Green. To the plate, he is safe. And the New York Mets have blown it wide open here in the 6th inning as Valentin gets the key hit. 11-3, New York got in front. And against this Cardinal bullpen, nobody had success until tonight. The floodgates have opened.
The St. Louis Blues in a New York minute. 3 more RBIs for the Mets.
And really, in this game, they're starting to get contributions from everybody up and down the batting order now.
So Valentin, who came in 2 out of 19, as Dave Duncan has made another trip to the mound. Runner at second, nobody out. Chavez takes a breaking ball for a strike. 3 runs last inning, 6 runs this inning against the Cardinal bullpen. Hey. 0-2. Oliver Perez is now just able to relax, waiting in the on-deck circle, not even really, sitting on the bricks. Here's an 0-2 pitch. Chavez is gone on 3 pitches, and that's the first out here in this 6th inning, and the crowd gives Johnson and the bullpen a hand.
Mets sending 8 batters to the plate in the 5th inning, at least 9 in this inning. And here we are in the top of the 6th, and Oliver Perez is coming up for the 4th time. You tell any starting pitcher that in the 6th inning we'll have you 4 at bats, and they'll say, that's a lot of runs.
He likes his chances.
Yeah, you bet.
Pitch over the outside corner for a strike to Oliver Perez, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. Tony La Russa has been relying on the names Thompson, Flores, Hancock, Johnson. And all postseason they have delivered for the Cardinals until the last 2 innings. Here's a 0-2 to Oliver Perez. Ball 1. 3 runs on 7 hits tonight against Oliver Perez, and he struck out 3, and maybe the entire key to his night, walked only 1. That is usually Oliver's undoing, as he is squatting on a strike as a breaking ball up strikes out Perez, looking for out number 2.
It's a buckler right there.
Well, as we said, at bats for a starting pitcher more important than hits.
Now runner at second, 2 out for Reyes, who started this with a base hit into right. That was against Hancock. Ball 1 from Johnson. Tom Glavine gets the ball tomorrow night. The numbers for Glavine compared to the rest of this rotation, worth pointing out, coming into this game, only Glavine as a Mets starter had a win. 2-0 with an ERA of 0 this postseason. All others 0-1, but an ERA of 7.82. Glavine averaging 6+ innings per start. The rest of the starters for the Mets 3 2/3 innings per start. But Oliver Perez has changed that look with his effort here tonight. Reyes flies one into left center field. Edmonds back at the track. On the move, is there to make the catch and end the inning. A sensational catch by Jim Edmonds to end a long top of the 6th. He went a mile to catch that ball. Edmonds will be the hitter. Jim Edmonds' shoulder has been taking a beating over the years because of all those diving catches and because of banging into one wall after another. He has had difficulty with each shoulder, and that's always an issue for the 8-time Gold Glove Award winner, winning the Rawlings Gold Glove Award in the American League and here in St. Louis. And when he bangs into the wall and then gets away from that collision and has that arm hanging down, the Cardinals always think, uh-oh, but here he is at the plate moments later and swinging at a pitch, hitting it in the air to right center field. Back is Beltrán at the wall. He leaps, and that ball is gone for a home run. I guess the shoulder's okay. It's 11-4. Home run or no home run, think about what the Mets were facing here tonight. Down 2-1 here in St. Louis. Having Oliver Perez on the mound. And you're turning to a guy who they can't have a ton of confidence in, as that ball just got past the outstretched glove of Beltrán. He may be pitching the game of his life considering the circumstances, as the Mets are trying to even this series at 2 games apiece. He has outpitched Anthony Reyes, and given the Mets a huge lift in this series against the Cardinals on the road.
And realizing, as Charles Bradford or Chad Bradford warming up, realizing that it was only a matter of time before the Mets got on track again. 14 straight consecutive scoreless innings for the Mets coming into the 3rd inning of tonight's game, into 2 home runs and then everything opened up in the top of the 6th.
Belliard chops one to Valentine, 2 out. Willie Randolph is trying to get as many outs as he can out of Perez. Perez nodding into the dugout like, leave me out here, as he's got Glavine, Randolph does, going on short rest tomorrow. He'd love to get Perez through this 6th and then go to his bullpen, I would imagine, in the 7th.
Yeah, he's done a great job for them tonight. You know, they were hoping to get the best out of Perez, not knowing what it was going to happen. And Willie Randolph had a lot of confidence in this guy to get him out here and start him in Game 4.
He got the nod over Dave Williams. It was really, which one do you want to pick? Who knows? And Perez has rewarded the Mets for that decision. You can see his confidence growing with every pitch.
The confidence grows when you have 11 runs to work with.
That helps.
Yeah.
90th pitch of the night is outside, 2-1 on Molina. Preston Wilson on deck. Three balls and a strike. Molina hits one in the air to left field. That ball is well hit. The Cardinals, 2 home runs in the inning. It's 11-5. Molina's like a different hitter from the regular season.
Yeah. His 6th hit of the postseason, and one would think that's got to be all for Perez. We got Bradford, the right-handed pitcher, against Preston Wilson, and here comes Willie Randolph.
They were trying to coax Oliver Perez through this 6th, but that's going to be all for the left-hander, who did a terrific job tonight for New York. He will leave with a 6-run lead as he pitches 5 2/3 here in St. Louis. Well, the numbers aren't numbers that make you go wow, but a 92-pitch night. Oliver Perez did what the Mets needed him to do. The Mets bats broke free, 11 runs on 12 hits. He gives up 5 runs on 9 hits through 5 2/3. Gives way to Bradford. Perez can only be the winner if he gets a decision. Preston Wilson will be the hitter, and a light mist starts to fall in St. Louis. And by the way, the forecast for tomorrow is heavy rain in the afternoon. Here's Preston Wilson. Wilson takes a ball from Bradford. His stepfather, Mookie, here in St. Louis. One 1 1 strike on Preston. Last night, Wilson was a starter and went 1 for 3 with a walk and 2 runs scored. Braden Looper will be on the mound when the Cardinals take the field in the 7th. Two balls and a strike on Wilson. 2-2.
Chad Bradford, a good job in Game 2. He worked 2 innings, giving up 1 hit. But as you can see, and we talked about it in Game 2, he comes very, very close to the ground. I'd say about 3 inches. players refer to pitchers like that. There are very few of them, but they refer to them as knuckle scrapers.
2-2 pitch. Wilson is jammed and he hits it foul. Loduca picks it up after went on the other side of the line. Still 2-2.
And not only that, but that last slow-mo we just saw, it looks like his elbow, it's got to hurt, but for most people, your natural motion is underhand. Watch his elbow. Leading with the elbow and just snapping the ball right behind it.
You can see the ball rising as it comes toward home plate. Counts 2-2 now on Preston Wilson with 2 out, nobody on, and 2 runs home on 2 home runs in this inning. Wilson in a battle now with Chad Bradford. Wilson to the right side. Valentine to his left. Inning is over. Tomorrow night it's game 5 of the NLCS from right here in St. Louis. 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific, and it will be a rematch pitching wise of game number 1. That means that Tom Glavine, who's 2-0 this postseason, will take on Jeff Weaver, who's 1-1 and has pitched very well. Braden Looper takes over and Loduca fouls it out of play, right side, strike 1. Looper for 2 years was a New York Met, a closer. This is his first year back with the organization where he grew up. Eventually was part of the trade that the Cardinals had with the Marlins to get Edgar Renteria. Won a ring with the Florida Marlins in 2003. 0-1 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. The setup guy for Jason Isringhausen at the start of the year, and now he's the setup reliever for Adam Wainwright. Getting some work here. This is only his 2nd appearance of this series. 1-1 pitch. Loduca pops it up. Second baseman Ronnie Belliard settles under it. 1 away. Just to finish the pitching lines on a couple of guys, Hancock did not retire a batter. Allowed 5 runs on 3 hits, 2 walks, no strikeouts. Tyler Johnson, 1 inning, 1 run on 2 hits with 2 strikeouts. And here's Beltrán. Carlos has been in the middle of all the action. He's been on base every time he's been to the plate. Takes a strike. Walked in the 1st, homered in the 3rd, singled and scored in the 5th, walked and scored in that 6-run 6th. On the inside corner, 0-2.
And you knew it was only a matter of time before this guy got hot, because he's been this whole season a better hitter on the road than he has been at home.
Led baseball in road RBI. 78 of his 116 happened away from Shea Stadium. 1 ball, 2 strikes. At Shea, Beltrán hit just .224, which was the lowest home average in the league, which is hard to believe. Despite that, he hit .275 overall. 2-2.
Some people believe, and I'm one of them, that it was a carryover from last year after signing that big contract and being booed last year. And then this year, of course, he was surrounded by so much more talent, including the guy who's on deck, his best friend, Carlos Delgado.
Beltrán hits it in the air to right field. Back is Encarnacion. Beltrán has another. His 2nd of this night. His 3rd of this series and his 7th against the Cardinals in his history in the LCS. On base all 5 times tonight, and Beltrán is red hot.
In game one, Beltrán telling Delgado that he felt good at the plate. I wonder if he told him that tonight. He delivered the 2-run home run in game one to win it for Glavine. Between Delgado and Beltrán tonight. Oh my gosh, did they hammer the ball.
Now Delgado. That misses down and away, 2-0. There have been 7 home runs hit in this game. It's now been done 3 times in a postseason game. Florida did it against the Cubs in game 1 of the 2003 NLCS, and in the '89 World Series, Oakland and San Francisco did it, combining for 7 in game 3. Cardinals have hit 3 home runs. The Mets have hit 4, and Beltrán has 2 of them. 2 balls and a strike on Delgado. Carlos has a 3-run shot, which is still probably the biggest swing of the night. It's a 2-2 game at the time, and Beltrán had reached with a walk to put 2 on for Delgado, and he went the opposite way for his 3rd home run of this NLCS.
You know, and in baseball, for whatever reason, there's those certain teams or certain ballparks that hitters either feel good or see the ball well against certain teams, and sometimes you don't. And for his case in Beltrán, he feels very comfortable playing against these St. Louis Cardinals.
Delgado leans back from ball 3, 3-2.
Beltrán has had such a good year, and as we've said on the road, that on September 1st, you could make a good case that he was the MVP in the National League. But he had a horrible September, batting under 200 with only 2 home runs. And concern coming in to the postseason. Boy, has he ever picked it up as Delgado is down on strikes.
Down the stretch, the regular season numbers since the 1st of September. Pujols hit 373 as the Cardinals hung on in the NL Central. Beltrán, there are the numbers, 190 for the Mets, and then Ryan Howard, who may very well be the MVP in the National League, grew up here in St. Louis, Lafayette High School. He was red hot for the Phillies, who, after trading Abreu and the late Corey Lytle, made a charge down the stretch and almost took the wild card.
Yep. So the MVP probably now between Pujols and Howard.
Ryan Howard was voted on by his competition, his fellow players, as the Sporting News Player of the Year. But I don't think there's any doubt it's a 2-player race for the MVP in the National League. David Wright waits for a 1-1 from Looper. That's a foul ball, strike 2.
Yeah, and whoever ends up winning that most valuable player, both those guys had phenomenal years and carried the workload for each offense.
Willie Randolph and the Mets had no trouble with Philadelphia in the NL East, but they did not quit under Charlie Manuel down the stretch. To the second baseman, and Ronnie Belliard takes care of David Wright. And this game goes into the bottom of the 7th inning. And our Travelers in-game box score is filled with hits, home runs, and runs, and RBIs. Reyes only has 1 of the hits. So the Mets have put up 12 runs, and Reyes has barely been a part of it. Oduka the same, but then it takes off with Beltrán, Delgado, David Wright with a home run, Green with a couple of hits, Valentin with a couple of hits, Chavez chipping in with a single. Bradford will go back to work. For the top of the order coming up for St. Louis, down by 7 here in the 7th.
I tell you, Joe, when you see tonight's game and you look at the awesome power and the ways the Mets can beat you, you realize what kind of job Jeff Suppan did for the Cardinals last night, pitching 8 shutout innings against this lineup. You cannot hold this lineup down for long. And tonight's an indication of that.
Eckstein at the plate. David takes a strike from Bradford.
Not only that, Tim and I were talking about how about Beltrán in the 5th inning when he tried to bunt, having a night like he's having today.
Yeah.
He eventually singled, and that's what set up Delgado for the 3-run home run. But since then, he's walked again and scored, and Beltrán then homered for the 2nd time in this game at the top of this 7th. Eckstein is 2 for 3 tonight. Homered his last time up. Now in the hole 1-2. Billy Wagner getting loose. And Eckstein hit by the pitch. That is part of his arsenal that he brings with him, and he says to Barry Weinberg, "Go away, I'm fine." That's nothing. Didn't sound like nothing, but he got up smiling eventually.
Sounded like ball on bone.
And got him just above the right knee.
I really love the way he plays the game. He does all the little things so right, and he just tries to do whatever he can to help his ball club win games.
Spezio digs his way in. Scott is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Seventh inning, Spezio takes ball. There is no action for the Mets out in their bullpen. Reminder that coming up, it's your late local news. It's 2-0. Spezio has been held down tonight with only the walk. On the outside corner at the knees, 2-1.
Scott's dad, Ed Spezio, played for the Cardinals back in the 60s. He runs a furniture store now in Morris, Illinois, right outside Joliet.
Dad played with the Cardinals from 64 to 72 and wore the same number that Scott is wearing, number 26.
Yep.
And that uniform for the Cardinals hasn't changed a whole lot over the years.
Same logo, birds on the back.
Spezio or full count.
Got some pretty good ball players run through here, haven't they?
Certainly have. Or flip through here, like Ozzie did on opening day at the beginning of the playoffs. Year after year, 3-2 pitch. Spezio grounds to second. It's played by Valentin, and Reyes finishes off a 4-6-3 double play. That keeps the bases empty in front of Albert Pujols.
That's a thing that a lot of hitters do against Bradford. They hit the top half of the ball. When you do that, the ball goes on the ground. Bradford, a double play waiting to happen.
Denver Broncos beat the Oakland Raiders tonight, so the Raiders issues continue. If you're just flipping over, welcome to this game. It's game 4 of the NLCS, and the Mets are on their way to evening the series at 2 games apiece. Our producer Pete Macheska, our director Bill Webb, Joe Buck, along with Luis Gonzalez and Tim McCarver and Ken Rosenthal.
Oakland has not won a game all week.
A lock drive foul out of play off to the left. 0-2 on Pujols. Tough series for the A's against the Tigers. The Tigers are awaiting the winner of this series. Either way, there are the Tigers who couldn't be hotter. A 4-game sweep over the A's. And they know that now both of these teams will use their ace starter another time down the stretch in this NLCS before the World Series starts on Saturday. Pujols chasing another bad pitch. Dug out by Delgado, and the Mets have turned the tables on the Cardinals tonight. We go to the 8th. It's a 12-5 Mets lead. Braden Looper back to the mound. 8th inning, 12-5. The Mets on top. New York will have Sean Green first up, then Valentin and Chavez in the first pitch from Looper. Over the outside corner for a strike. Green has had a nice night. He's lined out, then struck out, but he singled in the 5th inning. Singled, drove in a run, and scored a run in the 6th. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Feliciano is starting to get active for the Mets out in their bullpen. Bullpen this postseason, first 7 games compared to tonight. That's out of play, 1-2 now. Beltrán's been a big reason for that. For homer night, Beltrán has 2. Delgado a 3-run home run, and David Wright, his only hit of this NLCS, a solo shot back in the 3rd. Here's a 1-2. Green grounds one to first, foul. Anthony Reyes, when he was taken out of this game, had worked 4 innings, allowed 2 runs on 3 hits. We had the chance to visit with Tony La Russa, who was candid and shared with us why the Cardinals had him work out of the stretch as opposed to the windup, fearing that he was tipping his pitches. However, the end result, 4 innings, 2 runs, 3 hits, has been the middle relief. He's had the rough night. This is Edmonds back into his right, making the catch to retire Green, 1 out. Now, if this NLCS gets to 7 games, you're looking at potentially a rematch of what we saw here tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
One out, nobody on. Valentin at the plate. And a fly ball into shallow left. Out is Eckstein. Out number 2. Oliver Perez was terrific. And this more to see moment is presented by Sharp Aquos Liquid Crystal Television. Oliver Perez, you would imagine, considering how Traxel pitched last night, probably get the nod in a game 7 unless they're willing to run Traxel back out there, who pitched 1+ and got knocked around, couldn't find the strike zone, walked 5 and allowed 5 runs on 5 hits. The Cardinals have Weaver tomorrow, then Carpenter for a game 6, and then could have Suppan come back for game 7. The question for the Mets, if you got there, is who would it be? And it could very well be Oliver Perez.
I know Detroit licking their chops right now and hope it goes 7. They would love to see this LCS extended through Thursday.
Here is a 1-1 pitch. Chavez with 2 out, nobody on. Fouls it back and out of play. Strike 2. We saw Orlando Hernandez working out and throwing in the bullpen before tonight's game. So maybe if the Mets were to advance, he could be a guy to take a start for the Mets if that calf that he injured while jogging prior to game 1 of the division series is good enough to pitch. Bottom of the 8th inning now rolls in St. Louis. Looper a scoreless 8. 12-5 New York. Here in the bottom of the 8th inning, it's a 12-5 Mets lead. Ken Rosenthal during the inning, during the break, talking about that game 7 and saying, well, it would be Oliver Perez on short rest, so it could be, if the Mets don't want to go back to Traxel in game 7, Darren Oliver making the start in Game 7, and that is something that we will definitely ask Willie Randolph prior to tomorrow night's game, because talking to Randolph tonight, he said, well, Oliver is not out in the bullpen tonight because of his 6 innings last night in Game 3, but expected him to return to that bullpen, and I guess it remains to be seen what happens in Games 5 and 6 as to whether Oliver would be available to start a potential Game 7. But those are decisions that a manager has to make, and Darren Oliver out there hanging out. They don't need him tonight. He took a load off that bullpen last night with his 6th inning effort. That's outside. 2-0 on Roland.
I think you definitely have to look at Oliver to be the starter of that game if they do end up going 7, because the Cardinals went 23 and 34 on the season against left-handers.
Roland checks on Reyes. He could make up for that bobble with his arm. 2 out.
Plus the fact that they've struggled in Game 1 against Glavin, and then Oliver came in yesterday and did a fantastic job against these Cardinal hitters.
Yeah, and coming into this game, So Taguchi is announced as the pinch hitter with 2 out. The Cardinals this season 23 and 34 against left-handed starters, which was the 5th worst record in Major League Baseball against lefties. Came in 1-1 this postseason. They lost to Glavin. They beat David Wells in the division series. But tonight, after Oliver did his work last night, Oliver Perez was good enough. 5 2/3, 5 runs on 9 hits. And Taguchi is now 3 for 3 this postseason. A single and 2 home runs. Batting for Jim Edmonds. Taguchi is on to continue this 8th inning.
The thing about the whole situation, the pitching situation, is that the Mets are just as vulnerable as the Cardinals to left-handed pitching. But the Cardinals don't have any left-handed starters.
Belliard takes a strike. So again, the Cardinals have Weaver going tomorrow, Game 5, and then have Carpenter set up for Game 6 in New York. We will definitely have 6 games in this NLCS, barring a miraculous comeback tonight, and then would have Suppan for Game 7. The Mets Game 7, the series should get that far, is very much up in the air. 0-2 is the count on Belliard. One on, 2 out, and that one gets away from Loduca. Taguchi is down to second. Meanwhile, the one guy we keep leaving out in Game 6 would be John Maine for the New York Mets, and he didn't look all that great in Game 2. 4 innings, 4 runs, walked 5, and struggled with his control that night. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Belliard. Down at second is Taguchi, 2 out. And that breaking ball catches the outside corner to end the 8th. We go to the 9th inning here in Game 4. 12-5. The Mets out in front. So Taguchi stays in the game after pinch hitting for Jim Edmonds and takes over in center. At the plate is Michael Tucker. Pinch hitting here to start the 9th inning and taking a strike from Braden Looper, working his 3rd inning. The numbers this postseason for Tucker: 0 for 2, and Guillermo Mota is getting loose for the bottom of the 9th. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jose Reyes next. And the Met fans who are in attendance tonight serenade him. Strike 2 on Tucker. Had a little rain earlier that has subsided as Tucker takes ball 2. 2-2. Now it's Looper tonight trying to pick up some innings for his friends out in the bullpen. Took over in the 7th, working here in the 9th. That's foul. Some of the names from those great 80s Mets teams. Doc Gooden, Lenny Dykstra. Two-two pitch. Tucker stays up there. Lenny Dykstra, who now owns and operates a car wash, unlike any other out in California.
Yeah. Nails was his nickname. He was a tough player for the Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies in 1993.
Tucker, another foul ball. This is the number 9 spot, so back to the top, and Reyes next. It's the number worn by Stan Musial here in St. Louis. Tucker grounds to the right side and threw it. Good at bat by Michael Tucker. Leadoff man is on for the Mets, and the batter will be Jose Reyes.
Ball over the middle of the plate. That's the one thing, you know, the plate's 17 inches wide. Those outer 2 inches, the inner 2 inches, that's where pitchers try to pitch most successfully, realizing that that middle of the plate is where big league hitters make their living.
Reyes rips at that pitch and fouls it. The Cardinals have bullpen activity. And Adam Wainwright. And now Tony La Russa is going to bring Barry Weinberg with him to make sure that one of his players is okay. Going out to Looper. He is. Looper looked shocked to see La Russa and Barry Weinberg bearing down on him, but evidently he's fine. So Tony La Russa saw something he didn't like. A flashback 20 years ago today, the Mets clinching the NLCS. Billy Hatcher home run. It was not enough. Jesse Orozco finished it. 16 innings. And the Mets win 7-6.
That was one of my old stomping grounds, the Houston Astrodome.
His too.
Well, with the Mets, that was a great NLCS, and that game was sensational.
Great in the American League. The Game 5, Boston Red Sox at California at the time. Now the Angels of Anaheim. But two simultaneously almost the best two LCSs in the history of the LCS.
Tucker at first, nobody out. 1-2 pitch. Eckstein will get to the bag and throw, but way late. Out at second is Tucker. That leadoff hit, though, by Tucker did do something. We showed him in the bullpen. Adam Wainwright getting loose. Tony La Russa using Adam Wainwright as his closer now, and all year long he has shied away from trying to use Wainwright on back-to-back days. Something to keep in mind in case a save situation pops up tomorrow should he come into this game.
Adam has only gone 2/3 of an inning. He went 2/3 of an inning in Game 2 against the Mets.
The velocity by Looper, 95 miles an hour, and a strike to Loduca. Ball tonight has scored twice, has just one base hit. 1 for 5. It was a ball he hit to the second baseman Belliard that went for an error. Reyes forgot how many outs there were. fly ball into right in the easy double play to end the inning. So Reyes asleep over at first, thought there were 2 out. And it gives the Cardinal fans something to cheer as we go to the bottom of the ninth. 12-5 Mets. Guillermo Mota is the 4th pitcher of the night for the Mets. Started with Oliver Perez, then Bradford, Feliciano. While Mota warms up, we give you this view from the pitcher's mound, and you can watch baseball like you never have before. The best picture on TV, Direct TV. Feliciano went 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, struck out 1. A little dancing going on in the aisles here at Busch Stadium.
That's the first jitterbug that I've seen in a long time where a lady was wearing a rally cap.
Come on, kids, we've got school tomorrow. They'll be upset when they're awakened tomorrow morning to head off to school.
Well, that's what's great about this game. We got 2 very exciting cities in New York and St. Louis. They love their baseball.
We've kind of had the whole hat theme running throughout our NLCS. Compliments of Bill Webb, our director. Here's Aaron Miles pinch hitting for the red-hot Yadier Molina. To get him an at-bat against Mota. Trying to get something going, and Miles goes after the first pitch and drops it into left. The 7-run Mets lead, and Aaron Miles is on with a single into left field. And Gary Bennett will get his first at-bat of the postseason. He'll pinch hit here in the number 9 spot. 4 home runs during the regular season, every one of them dramatic. While he filled in for an injured Yadier Molina. That's strike 1. Mota is the pitcher who was on the mound and who relinquished the 2-run lead in the 7th inning with 2 out, nobody on. Pujols got a base hit, a walk to Edmonds. And after 2 quick strikes on Spezio, Spezio turned on a pitch, hit a 2-run triple off the top of the wall. Cardinals tied it and won it with 3 runs in the 9th inning, started by the Taguchi home run. Took a 2-games-to-1 series lead last night with a 5-0 win over the Mets behind Jeff Suppan. But tonight, a sleeping giant, the New York Mets offense awakened. They pounded out 12 runs on 14 hits. Strike 2 on Bennett. Once again, tomorrow night's pitching matchup, the probables for Game 5, Glavine and Weaver, a rematch of Game 1. Won by Glavine. 7 shutout innings on 4 hits. Bennett strikes out on a pitch down and in, 1 on, 1 out. The AP sent out a report talking about the probables for Game 7, the potential starters for Game 7, and mentioned Traxel's situation and talked more about the bruised right thigh he has from the batted ball hit against that leg by Preston Wilson last night. But healthy or not, I think the Mets would still have to debate whether to run Traxel back out there for a Game 7 or turn to Darren Oliver or someone else to make the start if this series goes that far. John Rodriguez pinch hits and takes a ball.
Yeah, if it does go that far, I think it would be more of an obvious choice to start either Oliver or to have Perez come back after 3 days rest. But I think Oliver seems to be the reasonable choice right now. That could change.
John Rodriguez takes a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike. Oliver and Castro, the backup catcher, out of the bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike on Rodriguez. 0 for 2 so far in this series. To the second baseman, Valentin out at second and out at first. The Mets with a loud victory here in Game 4. A 12-5 final. 2 home run night for Beltrán. Home runs by Delgado and Wright. And it's a 7-run victory to even this series at 2 games apiece. There are the numbers, the winner, the loser,